Hello students, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to study English main course book of Standard 8 and we are going to study Unit 2, that is Art and Culture. And on this unit we are going to study Chapter 1, that is Art Rocks. And this story is written by Miss Rakshanda Jalil. So I tell you one interesting fact that this is not a story. Actually, this is an article which was published in a newspaper, that is the Hindu. The Hindu is the name of a newspaper, and in this newspaper, this article was published, and from there it is taken. And the article was written by Miss Rakshanda Jalil. So students, before we get started, I must tell you about something about this chapter, something about this unit. So actually, first of all, this unit Art and Culture describes or tells us about the art and the culture of historic times, that means early times. And in this specific chapter, we learn about art only. Later on we will read about culture in subsequent chapters, but in this chapter we will learn about art only. So now we are going to read this story. We will read this story paragraph by paragraph, and we will understand what this story is all about. So let's get started. So before we start the lesson, you can see this is the first page of the unit. Here you can see the four graphs is given, 1, 2, then 3, then 4. So you have to identify who these people are. So you can use the Google, you can use the internet, or you can use the newspaper or any other book, or you can use any source of information, and you have to identify these people and you have to write the name of these people. So before we get started, there is a small description given at the top of the page, and it reads as: this travelogue is about Bhimbetka, the prehistoric rock shelters in Madhya Pradesh, where early humans painted scenes from their life and the world. Bhimbetka, as the author realizes, is an awe-inspiring gallery displaying art that dates from the Paleolithic, that means the early Stone Age, to the medieval, that means the Middle Ages, all on one story canvas. So, from the early Stone Age to the Middle Age, we find records of life starting from the period when people were hunter-gatherers to the time when iron technology had become quite significant. The study of these paintings gives us an insight into the activities of prehistoric people, their clothing, the animal they had, and numerous other facets on their daily life. So basically, this story is about Bhimbetka. I tell you, Bhimbetka is a cave. It is a place in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. And what do we find there? We find some caves, and in these caves there are some paintings. And these paintings date back to Paleolithic age. Paleolithic age. That means the Stone Age, the very early humans, to the medieval age. Medieval age is what, where the discovery of iron was identified. So all these paintings, all the things about history is that means you can see there all the related information that is in the shape of paintings. You can see there in the caves. So basically there are two types of history. you will give out the history, depth of history. One is written history, that means the source of information is available and it is in written shape. So you can read that and you can recognize people, you can recognize events, and everything is written about that. The other one is very old history, very ancient history, about which no other written script or written information is available. Only transcript, that means different kinds of symbolic language and different kinds of paintings or different kinds of weapon made of iron, made of rocks, they are the source of information. Different kinds of pots, bricks, or you will read that in the history book. There are many sources of history. So in Bhimbetka you won't find anything written. You find only paintings. And when you see the paintings, you can have the glimpse, you can have the idea about the civilization, about the culture of that time. So this was the introduction of this chapter. Now we are going to read the paragraph. Fresh from the book launch of Ijlal Majid's stunning new poetry collection in Bhopal, I find myself gazing at the rock shelters of Bhimbetka and murmuring his verses over and over again. So indeed, there is something sublime. So here the word sublime is highlighted in blue color, that means inspiring. Sublime about this place. So here writer says that when I was in Bhimbetka, I was so mesmerized, I was so impressed, I was so inspired with the paintings that I recited, I read some verses of poetry, she is saying, and they are written by Ijlal Majid, and she is reading the verses, the poem again and again, and she is staring at the, she is looking at the paintings in Bhimbetka. Looking at the copper and fire-engine red paintings drawn by human hands several thousand years ago, spotting a buffalo, the deer, see how our earliest ancestors fought, sang and played, makes Bhimbetka a singularly unusual place. So these paintings are in red color, mostly they are in red color, and there are scenes of some animals, some wars, some fights, or some people having dances, or they are having social events like wedding, like rituals. So in these paintings you can find these events, and some of the animals name have been given. Like you can find buffalo paintings, you can find deer, and you can find how the people of that time, they used to sing, they used to celebrate, they used to dance. And archaeologist Vishnu Sridhar Vakankar chanced upon means found by chance. Oh, it was a coincidence. These rock shelters in 1957. So it was discovered in 1957 by an archaeologist Vishnu Sridhar Vakankar. While traveling by train to Bhopal, so he was traveling by train to Bhopal, beneath intense, almost impenetrable forest inhabited by wild animals. These shelters had long found mention in the popular culture of the Adivasis. So this place was almost impossible to discover because it was in forest, it was surrounded by wild animals, and the forest was very dense and thick. And the source where to find this place was the Adivasis. They have mentioned many times about this particular place. During the Buddhist era, some stupas were built in the vicinity and the region became associated with Buddhist lore. So, vicinity, that means neighborhood, that means left, right, surroundings, and Buddhist lore, that means Buddhism, all the things or stories or anything that is related to the religion Buddhism. So nearby the cave you can find some stupas that belong to religion Buddhism. The name Bhimbetka, however, is associated with Bhim, and we all know about Bhim. He was a warrior in the Mahabharata. The warrior prince from the Mahabharata, known for his immense strength, and he was known for his strength. The word Bhimbetka is said to be derived from Bhimbetka. This word comes from Bhimbetka. Bhim, that is Bhima from Mahabharata, and then Betka, that means a place where a sitting place or a seat, you can say, meaning a battle, a sit down or seat of Bhima. So it was a sitting place of Bhima. Vakankar's serendipitous discovery, that means a discovery that made coincidence, brought the 700 odd rock shelters. That means there are more or less 700 rock shelters spread over 10 kilometers. The caves are spread in 10 kilometers. And the stunning paintings in red or white with the occasional flash of yellow and green. So you can find 4 color paintings: red and white with yellow or green. So there are 4 colors used in making those paintings. And it draws the attention of the entire world. It is written world attention, causing UNESCO to declare them a World Heritage Site in 1970. So in 1970 it became so popular that the UNESCO, I tell you, UNESCO is an organization of United Nations. So it protects the old monuments of old sites. So it was declared as a World Heritage Site. It was so recognized and it was so popular in foreign countries also. So in 1917 it was declared as World Heritage Site. Situated 45 kilometers from Bhopal at the southern edge of the low-lying Vindhyachal Hills, these rock shelters are made of massive sandstone rocks balanced on each other to form natural shelters from the sun, wind or rain. So the distance of Bhimbetka from Bhopal is 45 kilometers, and it is situated on the lower end of Vindhyachal Hills, and they are made of sandstones, all these caves, and they are balanced as one. They are balanced or kept as you will see. You will find it that it is kept from one another, and they are making cave-like shape. And all the paintings, they are protected from the sunlight, they are protected from the wind, and they are protected from the rain because they are in the cave. On the smooth underside of the rock face, we find painted scenes from the ancient past showing the earliest traces of human life in India. Scientists believe that these rock shelters deep in the forested part of the Indian subcontinent were inhabited by hominids, that means early humans, more than 1 lakh years old. So it is believed, and some scientists have discovered, that these paintings are 1 lakh years old, and the people who made these paintings were living there actually 1 lakh years ago. The rock paintings found here are approximately 30,000 years old, belonging to the Paleolithic age. So there are some beliefs also that these paintings are 30,000 years old. And it is believed that the people who made these paintings were living there 1 lakh years ago. A cluster of rock shelters is called a zoo, painted at different times from the Mesolithic to the medieval ages. It shows the profusion of animals and birds in the most vivid colors like lifelike forms. So as you see the paintings, you will find or you will realize that the paintings are like alive. They are depicting a story. They tell about themselves. You can find birds, you can find animals in paintings, and you can find human beings also. You can find cultural events also. So a group of painting is called zoo, and you can find boars, elephant, rhinoceros, barasingha, spotted deer, cattle, and snake in these paintings. Elsewhere scenes depicting hunting, fishing, and food gathering, as well as communal dances, the use of musical instruments, birds, funerals, and burials make these rock surfaces come alive with thousand stories. So when you see the rock and when you see the paintings, you will find that there are thousands of stories they are telling. You can find animals, you can find human beings, you can find some people they are hunting, some people they are fishing, or some people they are gathering food. You can find dances also, you can find birds, you can find death. So they are combinedly or individually lots of stories, almost thousands of stories in different parts of the paintings. Recognizable animals here appear in many scenes as do humans. So some of the figures of the paintings are as clear as you can recognize them, you can identify them just in one glance. And many scenes as do humans, both single and in groups, thus indicating that society had already emerged in Paleolithic period. So some of the paintings they are in single and some of the paintings they are in groups. That means the people, the character in the painting, sometimes they are alone, sometimes they are single, and sometimes they are in groups. So when there is a painting or there is a theme, there is any source of history that is in group, that means the society has emerged. That means people they were living together. So sometimes people in very early age, people used to live alone, and when the society saw people started living in colonies or living in groups. So these paintings, some of the paintings they are in groups. People are in the group. That means the society was already emerged there. The Mesolithic age that began around 8,000 years BCE was the time when traditions and religious beliefs based on nature and ecology began to take shape. So it is the description given that the Mesolithic age is when it is around 8,000 BC, and in this age people started worshipping or praying the tradition or the religious beliefs or the nature or the ecology. The Bhimbetka paintings bear witness to how the faith tradition came into being. How its foundation was laid in line drawing, and how later generations filled these outlines with color, detail, sharp eye, and vivid imagination. So first of all, there was only a drawing, only a sketch, and later on, that means in very early age, people draw only sketch. Then their descendants, they used to fill the colors in those paintings. People belonging to different evolutionary time groups use the same rock surface as their canvas. Thus, multiple scenes are either superimposed or drawn alongside. So, these paintings have been used for a long time for the source of history or for other history-related information. The oldest and most muted and comparatively older paintings are usually closer to the rock base. So, suppose this is the wall of the rock. So, the older paintings you can find at the bottom, and the newer paintings you can find at the top. So, this is the sequence of the paintings. As the eye travels upward, the scenes are remarkable for them gaining a spotted deer, a gaily decorated horse, a man carrying a plum, and an insignia. Insignia, that means a kind of bag which is worn for an honor. Insignia similar to the one still used by Adivasi dancers or horn riders carrying blunt stone instrument, and then progressively bows, arrows, and masked figures engaging battle. Masked that is one. So very old paintings you find at the bottom, and as you go upwards to the wall of the cave, you can find that paintings have very much detailed information. So as you go upwards, you can find people wearing badges, or you can find animals that are decorated, or you can find at the top of the wall, you can find even the scene of a war. People engaged in a war. So you can find a group of people this side, the group of people this side, and then there's a barrier and they are fighting with weapons, so they are going to fight with each other. So this is the scene of a war which is also painted on the wall. Overwhelmed by the tableaux. Tableaux, that means figure representing scene from the story or history. That means a figure that represents or that shows a history or a story. That is called a tableaux. Tableaux fit out before our eyes or a small body of tree, sort of quite corner in the enormity of human evolution displayed almost chronologically before us. Chronologically, that means in the order in which they happen. That means the order, first and second, then third, then fourth and fifth. We were happy when we found a ledge at the far corner of the viewpoint to drop it against the school clock face. We sat in companionable silence, gazing at the patchwork quilt displayed out by nature. The setting sun was turning the fruits of mustard to golden gold. A tender game of unripe wheat alternated with the darker volume of stately salters, and earth and sky seemed to meet in perfect harmony on the distant horizon. So here the writer or the author is describing the beauty of that place and the nearby area. So first of all, she is saying that when you enter the cave and you see the painting, the entire history and the early life comes alive in front of your eyes. That you start to stare at it, you start to enjoying it without opening your mouth, without saying a word, without uttering a word. By default, you keep yourself silent and you start to enjoy the painting. So when people go to Bhimbetka, they usually don't talk, they keep silence and they enjoy the scene. And the viewpoint, the nearby place is also very beautiful. There are hills and the place is very silent. You cannot find any kind of sound there because that is in the place is in the forest. There is no city, there is no village around, so you cannot find any kind of noise there. So that place is very sound and very peaceful. And when the sun sets, the scene becomes mesmerizing. How? Because there are some mustard fields and they turn like, at the sunset they turn like gold. And all the green salt trees, they become dark and they also depict a very beautiful scene. And the sun and the land, when the sun is setting, you can find that you can realize that the sun and the land, they are meeting at a point, that they are meeting at a horizon. So just as we visualizing how utterly magical the view from our ledge would be during the rains and making plans to come again during the monsoon, the stillness was snapped in the rudest manner possible. The great Indian tourist arrived unbidden and like the proverbial bull in a china shop proceeded to have a long and loud conversation on his cell phone. So they were planning, they were thinking that the scene, the sight, the place becomes more and more beautiful in rainy season, that means in monsoon. So they were planning this to come again to that place, come again to Bhimbetka in monsoon. Suddenly a person comes and starts having a conversation on the phone very loudly, and the person disturbed the whole environment, the whole silence and the whole joy, because he came and he started talking over the phone, over the mobile phone very loudly. So the silence, the peace is broken here. Thus, shattering the silence that we have been reveling in, supremely unaffected by our glares and pointed shh, he continued an endless monologue in his booming voice till finally we conceded defeat and chose to get up and leave. So when the silence is broken and the person who is talking over the phone, you also find that some people are very silently then enjoying the view, and the author and the friends, they also pointed like shh, but the person continued to talk loudly over the phone, and finally the author, the writer, and her friends, they sat up and decided to leave the place. But nothing and nobody could take away the awe we carried home with us, an awe that still makes me break out in a goosebump as I visualize Nimbedka in my mind's eye. So at the last paragraph, the writer, she's saying that this is true that we left that place, but the whole picture, the whole travel documentary is still in my mind, and whenever I remember those moments, those paintings, those scenes, I have goosebumps in my body. So this was the story. This was the last paragraph of this story. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you understood the paragraph and you understood the meaning. Still, if you have any kind of question or any kind of doubt, you can write that in the comment box. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share our videos. And thank you very much for watching our videos. We will be back again with much more videos for you. Till then, goodbye and stay tuned.